Hi fragrance friends, Danielle here. Welcome to my channel for a second part of a series that I started months ago called Friday Fragrance Fun. This is my Black Friday edition. So as with other Black Fridays, I have told myself I would be a good girl, and also as with other Black Fridays, I failed miserably. So I acquired some new fragrances and I wanted to take the time to share them with you because some of them are new to the market. So hopefully if you were looking into some of these fragrances and hadn't seen other reviews, maybe this one can help kind of inform you about a fragrance you perhaps had not seen before or that you were interested in knowing more about. So I'm going to go through the fragrances that I purchased first all together, and then I'll go back through them individually. This is Gold Immortals by Ex Nihilo. Next is Amouage Crimson Rocks, which is brand new. Another new one is Nanshe by Nishane. Then I also got Lalibela by Memo Paris. And last but not least, in terms of higher end fragrances, I got Rouge Saray, I think I'm pronouncing that right, by Atelier des Ors. So I also made a bit of a boo-boo and was taken in by a marketing gimmick and bought Flowerbomb because there are stars on the bottle for Christmas. So take what you will from that. So anyway, first I wanted to talk to you about Ex Nihilo. So Ex Nihilo is a house that I don't really hear mentioned a whole lot in the fragrance community. I like their fragrances. I have a few now. I have Explicite. I have 10,019 Wonders, which is a beautiful gourmand that is only sold at Bergdorf Goodman. You can't even get it on the Ex Nihilo website. And then finally, Gold Immortals, which I had read about and thought to myself, well, let's take a look at this fragrance and see if we like it. So this is another Jordi Fernandez creation. It's categorized as an oriental floral, unisex. It's new for 2020. And in terms of the notes in it, you see pear and bergamot on the top, peony and lieslein. I'm not going to try that one, you guys. Mid notes, and then also amber, musk, and tonka bean on the base. Now, I happen to really like tonka bean as a base note, and I love pear on the top note. I don't have many fragrances that have pear as a top note, so I thought, let me give this a try, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised. This is absolutely a unisex fragrance. You can get away with wearing it if you're a man. You can get away with wearing it if you're a woman. You can get away with wearing it if you're anywhere in between or beyond that. It's a great, really flexible fragrance, and I highly recommend it. So as with always, Ex Nihilo has really good bottle presentations. Ex Nihilo also has exceptional sprayers. Look at that sprayer. I love it. So good. Tonight I was at a friend's giving, and a person that I was sitting near there, hello John, was telling me you should spray at the camera and say, can you smell this? So can you smell that? There you go. So now I'm not going to be able to smell anything else, but it was worth it because this is a beautiful fresh fragrance. It's an oriental floral, but at the same time it's also fresh. It's rather unassuming. All Ex Nihilo fragrances that I've tried have had really great longevity and sillage. They stay on your body. They evolve beautifully. They're well mixed. They're well created. They contain good quality ingredients. And I've never had a problem with an Ex Nihilo fragrance. The only problem I've ever had is that maybe I wanted to put something else on, and it was still on my skin longer than I wanted it to be. So good longevity, good sillage, high quality ingredients, great mixology. Ex Nihilo is definitely a house that I think is underrated in the fragrance community. So Gold Immortals, I don't really know what the inspiration is behind it. I tried to do some research. I couldn't really figure it out. If you look at the Fragrantica breakdown, it says the main accords are floral, amber, fresh, sweet, fruity, musky, powdery, citrus, vanilla, and yellow floral. So I'm trying to break away from my tendency to only like floral fragrances. This is the winter of gourmands, so I've been getting a lot of vanilla-based fragrances. and some spicier fragrances, which you're going to see in just a minute. So if you like a nice Floriental, check out Gold Immortals by Ex Nihilo. I forgot where I got it. Either it was one of the department stores that had a really good sale. Because as those of you who are into fragrance know, we get deals so infrequently on our Vice that we have to take advantage of them whenever we can. So next, I'm really excited to share with you a brand new offering from Amouage. This is Crimson Rocks. Now, I'm really shocked at myself for buying this fragrance because it's another Oriental floral, but I actually see a lot of gourmand elements in it as well. It's brand new. It just came out. So the top notes in this fragrance are cinnamon and pink pepper with mid notes of rose and honey and base notes of atlas cedar, oak, and vetiver. And it's funny because I don't necessarily smell the cedar in here. I smell the cedar in another fragrance I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, but I don't smell it necessarily in here. This fragrance has such good longevity that I sprayed it on a tester strip, threw it in the garbage, and a few days later was still smelling it strongly in my kitchen. Now, that's not to say that it's obnoxious or intrusive. It's just got good quality ingredients. And if you're familiar with the House of Amouage, you know that their reputation as a house is unparalleled. They make good quality fragrances, and their mixology is really quite good. So this fragrance, it presents like other Amouage fragrances. This is like nothing else I've ever smelled. In fact, I had seen it described by a few different places as having that cinnamon note, not like a red hot cinnamon, like a red hot candy, but like a cinder, like almost like a rock, almost like a pumice rock or something, kind of a cindery rock. And so I was really interested to try it. I don't have another fragrance like this in my entire collection. This is something that I haven't owned before. It's actually really nice. It's in the beginning, it's a little aggressively cinnamon. In fact, my best friend, who doesn't really know a whole lot about fragrance, when I asked him to smell it when I first got it a few days ago, said, I smell the cinnamon. So there's that cinnamon in there, the pink pepper, and also the jujube honey, and again, the cedar, the oak, and the vetiver at the base. So I'd read somewhere that some people think that this is a feminine fragrance. It's a unisex fragrance, and I think what saves it from being too feminine, which is how it would initially smell to me at first sniff. I think what saves it from being a feminine fragrance is that base of vetiver, oak, and cedar. But I think it's a really well-balanced fragrance that provides a spice, a little sweetness, and then kind of that earthy component at the base. So if you're looking for something really unique that probably not a lot of other people are wearing, I highly recommend Crimson Rocks by Amouage. Brand new offering from that house. So next is a fragrance that I had been hearing about a little bit here and there in the fragrance community. This is Lalibela by Memo Paris. Now, this is my very first Memo Paris fragrance to my collection. So I had read about the house a lot, and I wasn't sure if any of the fragrances were really my speed. And then I heard about Lalibela, and I thought, okay, why not? I am in love with this fragrance. Now, if you know Memo Paris, they send you a card on the outside of their box, a pretty card like that, where they tell you the notes breakdown. So according to them, you've got living orchid cocoa, rose, jasmine absolute, oil of Indonesian patchouli, rose absolute, vanilla, tobacco absolute, frankincense, and labdanum resin. So this is a really pretty rose fragrance. Now, it's not aggressively rose. It's a chic floral fragrance for women. So sorry, guys. I mean, I'm sure you could probably pull it off if you wanted to, but it's marketed to girls. It's been around for a while. This fragrance came out in 2007. I like it because I'm a really big fan of coconut. Now, what I like about this fragrance is that this is a coconut fragrance that transcends seasons. So a lot of coconut fragrances, I think, are heavily marketed and even created with the intention of being worn in the summertime. This is maybe not even a fragrance that I would wear in the summertime. It's got top notes that sound like a summery fragrance, but I can easily see myself wearing it this time of year or even in the winter. So you've got coconut and orchid, you've got the rose and peony, and then a mid of patchouli and vanilla, along with jasmine and labdanum. And then you've got incense, tobacco, leaf, and precious woods on the base. So it starts off kind of lighter, then it goes a little bit more, I want to say not intense, but a little bit more floral in those mid notes. And then you go into some of those like deeper, kind of creamier notes like the vanilla and the patchouli. And then you've got incense and tobacco leaf at the base, which makes it a deeper, richer fragrance that's going to last on your skin. Now, it's not lost on me that a lot of these fragrances contain patchouli, and I hate patchouli. But here's the funny thing about patchouli, and me, at least where I'm concerned. If patchouli is in a fragrance that is well blended, I don't have a problem with it. So let that be known, because you might hear me griping about patchouli here and there. But I do actually like a fragrance that contains patchouli, as long as it's not smack you in the face headshot patchouli, if you catch my drift. So, Lalibela, Memo Paris, so beautiful. Such a pretty rose fragrance. And I do like rose fragrances. I have quite a few, but rose fragrances to me are kind of like Cinderella's slipper. It's kind of hard to find the one. For example, I love Jo Malone. I have an extensive Jo Malone fragrance collection. I hate Jo Malone's red roses, but I love Diptyque's rose. So this actually might be a really popular addition to my rose rotation in my fragrance collection. So next I wanted to also talk to you about Nanshe. This is by Nishane. Now this is my third Nishane behind Ani and also 100 Silent Ways. So I was really excited to read the notes on this. I may end up getting the other one yet, which is called, I think, Ege. To me, it smells like cucumbers and all sorts of summery freshies, but I won't be buying that one until the summer because obviously it's more of a summery fragrance. So this is a brand new fragrance for 2020. I wore it all day today before I went over to my friend's giving when I was going to put on something else and I totally forgot, so I went over there naked. Again, another oriental floral fragrance marketed to both men and women. It was just recently released and it contains two notes that I love together, at least since I met Soleil Neige by Tom Ford. So on the top of this fragrance are bergamot and carrot seed, but alongside of that is yuzu and cardamom. So imagine that, right? So you've got some of these more citrusy, kind of like herby fragrance like notes along with the fruit of the yuzu and also the kind of the warm spiciness of the cardamom. So in the mid notes, you have rose, some more floral notes, some jasmine sambac, lang lang, and water fruit. And in the base, you've got powdery notes, more patchouli, more musk, and some sandalwood and orris. So this fragrance takes you on a journey. So it starts off smelling totally different than it ends up. At the base of it, it's a warm, creamy fragrance when it dries down and you've been wearing it for a few hours. But in the beginning, you kind of get that fruity from the yuzu. You've got the carrot seeds, which I happen to love as a note in a fragrance, especially since Tom Ford's Soleil Neige. It's pretty. It's unique. It's unlike anything else that I own. You've got that quality Nishane bottle. Again, Nanshe. I was reading about this. Nanshe was actually the goddess of fertility. So kind of there's some more lore to it, and I encourage you to check it out. It's definitely more than I can offer in this video because I don't want it to go too long. But there is actually some lore and some mythology behind the name of this fragrance. So give it a try. It's really pretty. It's nice. It's good for both a man or a woman. I put it on earlier. I can still smell it faintly. It's on my skin at this point. It's very close to me. I doubt anyone around me could smell it. But for most of the day, it was pretty prominent. I kept smelling myself as I was going about my business and doing the things that I needed to do for my day. So that's Nanshe by Nishane. Now last is actually a fragrance that I was turned on to by Tara over at Olfactophiles. This is, and I know that most fragrances have some kind of French inspiration, but I don't speak French, so I apologize in advance if I butcher any of these fragrances that are French inspired. This is Rouge Saray by Atelier des Ors. So I got a couple of samples from Lucky Scent, and this was one of them. The other one was Lune Filine, which Tara also covered in her video. And I was really excited about Lune Filine, and I hated it. It smelled to me like rubber. I just didn't like it at all. But I was surprised to know, I'm sorry about the bird. I was also surprised to find that I loved this one. Again, another Oriental floral fragrance. And another 2020 release for this one. So in the top note of this one is more cinnamon, some plum, and some jasmine. In the mid, you've got date, patchouli, and heliotrope, which I really like as a note. And then in the base, you've got vanilla, gaiac wood, Peru balsam, and sandalwood. So you've got kind of a really cool mix, actually. On me, it smells like a cedar closet. Like when you would go to like a ski lodge or something in Colorado and they have the closets that are made entirely of cedar, or when you've got those shoe trees to keep your shoe like shape, and they smell like cedar. I was gobsmacked to find out that this fragrance did not have cedar in it. Like, to me, it smells like cedar. So, but I think I'm reading cedar into some of that Peru balsam and some of those woody notes in the base note. So, but it starts off definitely with some spicy, fruity notes on the top, even a little floral, and then sort of mellows out into like creamy gourmand world as you get through the mid and the base. This is a beautiful fragrance, and with all Atelier fragrances, I just love the bottle. The other one that I have is Curdi Orange, which is like a honey orangey fragrance. I think I learned this trick from Tara, like to shake it up so that you don't end up getting gold in the spritzer. So that's something to know with these fragrances that have gold in them. Give it a little shake so that you don't end up getting gold in the spritzer. So this is Rouge Saray. Really pretty. I wore it tonight. Oh, I did wear something tonight. I just totally forgot that I put this on tonight. Longevity on me is not great, but we'll play around with it. I didn't put a whole lot on. I spritzed one on each arm, and that was that. Again, I'm not a heavy sprayer. I'm not one of those people who puts 25 sprays of a fragrance on. I think it's just not polite to do so. So those are my new acquisitions, in addition to Flowerbomb, which really needs no explanation. So I'm excited about my acquisitions. I don't think I'm getting anything else from Black Friday. So all in all, it was a pretty good Black Friday. I think I've received everything that I ordered. We have to take advantage of those sales when we get them in the fragrance world, especially those of us who like to collect more pocketbook invasive fragrances. So thank you for joining me on my Black Friday haul video. I know this was a long one, but hopefully you got some information on some newer fragrances that maybe there's not a whole lot of information out there about. So if you have any questions, drop a line in the notes down below in the comments section and let me know what you think of some of these if you've had them. And I hope wherever you are, you're safe, well, and happy, and have a wonderful weekend. And by the way, didn't I say at the beginning of this video it's Friday Fragrance Fun? It's not Friday, it's Saturday. Isn't it? Is it Friday or Saturday? Oh well, it's been that kind of a week, you guys. It's a Saturday. So Saturday, it's not going to work. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.